Beautiful.
What were we just talking about before I hit the live, the play button? Being like, oh yes, I remember what I was saying. Um, like, you know, the mask thing. I have the mask thing, and so like whenever I do interviews with I guess you could say celebrities or whatever, just like some, you know, more well-known people.
Hmm.
I almost like want to say that like, yo, we ain't doing no video. So you can really let your hair down. As we can tell, baby, Gareth Soloway is in full chill mode. Is it raining out there wherever you are right now?
No, beautiful sunny day here. I'm on the west coast of the US, and it's right now cool outside and sunny, and I'm just inside working a little bit, but you know what? When you are a trader, work isn't work. It's fun.
Yeah, it's playing video games and not looking at the charts as much as possible. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, Man, I thanks for you know, I kind of like this little thing we got going on. You know, you've been working hard, and I appreciate you, you know, kicking it with me, you know, for an hour
Oh,
here and there every other month and whatnot. Um, you know,
it's honestly my honor, man. I love talking to you. I can't wait till we see each other in person and hang out maybe in Dubai and at the summit. I mean, it's gonna be fun, and that's the way life should be fun, right?
totally. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. Do you want me to have your face on the stream, or just flash it once in a while when you're smiling, and then hide it when you're not smiling?
I'm okay. It's whatever you prefer. I don't mind being on video. I'll just try not to make any weird faces.
All right, good deal, good deal. So, I guess you know, so I haven't really looked at any charts today or anything yet. But before I guess we kind of get started, I guess my question to you is, well, what I want to hear from you is kind of like how and if your trading strategy has adapted to the environment. And what I mean by that, for example, for me, number one, I'm not trading as much, but there's also other factors. But when I am trading, it is a much more set it and forget it. Have, you know, I'm not setting it with no stops and walking away, wishing and hoping I don't lose everything.
Yeah.
But everything is much more planned. And the last thing I want to do is sit here and look at the slow and small price action movement with Bitcoin. So the trades that I have been in, I'm like 2 for 3 in my last three. And I've only been in like 3 trades in probably 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been more set, forget. Obviously, the numbers ain't been that big, but you know, I made a little bit, and you know, whatever. What's going on with you?
Yeah, so I'm kind of the same thing. There's not right now a lot to do in crypto. I mean, believe it or not, the stock market is where the action is right now. The tech stocks have been ripping recently. Today we're seeing a big drop after the non-farm payrolls number, as it shows. Honestly, it was a really strong number, and so investors are now worried the Fed is going to go back to hiking aggressively because it's so strong, and the markets don't like that. It's funny because you'd think like a strong number, oh, the economy's great, like yay, the market should go up, but instead it's selling off today on that because the Fed is going to be tougher. But for me in crypto, I haven't really entered a new trade in a couple weeks.
Word.
I was taking some profits on the recent rally off of the 2017 highs, but again, my gains kind of are the same. It's like, in a bear market when you go long, you can't be too greedy, right? So I look for
Yeah.
10%, and really in crypto, 10 or 15% is not that much. But in a bear market, I found that it lets you rebuy basically at the same or a better level afterwards, which is really the best, right? I mean, if you could just buy at 20,000, sell at 22, rebuy at 20, sell at 22, you can just do all these fun rinse and repeat type trades. And that's really in a bear market what you got to do. I think a lot of people, they get stuck on that kind of like, oh, crypto went to 69,000 last year, so maybe in a couple months it'll go back there. But a bear market will kind of make you pay for that mentality in the near term.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I've guess I've been in this long enough and learned, had my lessons where it's like, you know, sometimes the best stuff, you got to know when to play it and know when to
Yep.
fold them. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And really, I think this is the time where, you know, the legit guys are just are bunkering down and making their whatever they're doing better. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Fundamentally speaking. But do you want to start us off with some charts or anything? What you're kind of like with
Yeah.
Bitcoin? I mean, I want you to go first. You're the guest, and so you go first,
Awesome,
and
man. I
then I'll make
appreciate
sure
that.
everyone can see your screen in a second here. Okay. Okay, hang on here. Oh, shoot. Okay, let me move this. I'm a boomer with Zoomer, so just
I love
forgive me.
it.
All right, this is as good as it's going to get right here. So we can see your screen, man.
Beautiful, man. That's perfect. And I can always zoom in a little bit here. So yeah, I mean, so basically you can just see this amazing. I mean, by the way, parallel trend lines are like my new favorite tool. I'm finding them every which way and they work so well. And so, talking to everyone watching here and listening, if everyone used them, they probably wouldn't work as well. So you guys I don't really talk about it much. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about it too much when it works. But you can see how, again, you just connect these lows and then you take a parallel and this is a perfectly parallel line. And essentially, if you were just buying here and selling up here and then buying again here and then selling up here, I mean, you just kind of do a little rinse and repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
It's important to recognize that this is a bearish pattern. So eventually I do worry that at some point we're going to have a breakdown where this really starts to drop dramatically down. And I still have a 12 to 13,000 target on Bitcoin before I think we might get a bottom. But really, again, you could see how the market kind of played with that 2017 high. And a lot of people were kind of surprised we pierced 2017's highs and got down to like 17.5. But remember that the market psychology is to whip the most people out of a trade. And so going into that, as we were coming into that 20,000-ish area, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to buy the 2019 high. That's going to be the bottom. Well, guess what? The market knows that, and it's going to flush it through to kind of make those people stop out, think it's collapsing, and then they'll bounce it afterwards. So one of my favorite things, if you put out stops on trades, is never put it out at like an obvious level. Like,
That's easier said than done, man, because the sweet spot for most people
yeah,
is they really don't want to go further than that. It's almost like they'd rather, Kali Yuga kamikaze it and especially when you're talking about leverage. And in
yeah.
crypto, you even get those wicks, man. I mean, I see it every day. Well, not
Yeah.
every day, but I see it all the time. It happens every day, all the time.
They do it. You're right. You're right. And listen, when you're trading with leverage, that's a whole new ball game. I don't personally trade with leverage. Even in stocks, I do use leverage in stocks like 2 to 1, and day trading you get 4 to 1. But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't. I don't even know how people do like 100 times. I mean, that's just the margin for error on 100
Yeah,
times
those are
is so.
myths. No one's really doing 100x unless it's an accident. Really, like
Oh, okay.
one thing a lot of the not all of them, but a lot of the leverage exchanges do is they start people off on cross. And
Mm,
so they don't know what cross is it lets you max out however much, like if you have $10 and their max amount is 125x without it really showing it, you'll type in, $12,500, whatever the math is, and be like, oh, I can buy that position, but you don't actually know you're going at 125x, and boom, before you can catch your stupid mistake,
wow.
your money's already gone. So that's something you got to look out for with that. I'm a big hater on cross leverage. I unless you're like really know the math, and even then, it's really it's you're better off just going with isolated instead. Just being like, okay, I know what I'm going to do 5x, and I can max it out on that.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, I think like 5x is reasonable, but yeah, I think you're so smart in terms of like hating on it because, think about a pro, right? Like I consider myself, I've been doing this 20 years. I've been trading stocks mostly. Now I'm in crypto, trading crypto. And if I don't feel comfortable, doing a great setup that I think has an 80% chance doing even like more than 2 times leverage,
Mm-hmm.
like what are the odds that someone that has almost no experience is going to be profitable
Mm.
doing 5 or 10 times leverage even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also, if I may dismay, um, you know, before, like, I'm not trying to shill or anything, but, well, here's what I'll say. Like, if you're not confident in a trade, like, I need to be really confident in a trade to really enter it. Like, I think if you're really kind of worrying about stops and like sweating it, then there's something you're doing wrong, either with risk management
Yes.
or just confidence in your position. And so, but yeah, like, there, if you're not there, like, if I'm going to sleep or I'm taking a nap or I'm leaving, like, yes, absolutely, you have to put the stops in. But if I'm sitting here chilling, like, if I have a plan, then I typically, you have a plan, you
Yes.
know. So okay, so yeah, I mean, we're going sideways. We made 4 little waves here, and I think Bitcoin's favorite number is 4. In fact, I know it is. And we've seen this little 4 hump pulse wave thing, and it dumps on 4 all the time, sometimes
Yeah.
5.
Yep.
So
No, you're right. You're right. In fact, that's exactly what I do as well is once you get to 4, you get to kind of like, think about 4 as a yellow flashing light. Then once you get to 5, it's like red flashing light. So
yes,
I'm in
sir.
agreement with you on that. And I think you're right about, understanding, not only the leverage side of it, but also understanding like how important in bear markets getting to the bottom of like your emotional control. And when you do leverage, right, and you brought this up briefly, is that leverage is going to make you more emotional because you have more on the line. And the key is understanding that any market, stocks, commodities, crypto, markets will push you to extremes. And if you're already emotional when you get in a trade, the
Mm,
emotional aspect is going to get much more kind of, you know,
mm,
magnified, and you're going to make the wrong decision at the wrong time because of that emotional nature. So I always say to people, like, if you want to become a millionaire with just 10 or $20,000, even 5,000, it's really that slow and steady progression, because if you try to do it too fast, the emotional kind of pitfalls will catch you, and then you'll blow up your account, and then you're basically at zero versus even at 5 or 10,000 bucks.
yeah, I mean, these are daily candles that we're staring at right here. And the truth, when you look at Twitter or YouTube comment feeds or live chats, like, if I'm trading in streaming, and I'll be like, yo, I'm in this for 2 to 4 days, you know, 2 to 4 days is the plan.
Yeah.
If I'm in a short and the price goes up 300, you know how it is, you know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, this has kind of been slow. And so, have your trades been taking a little more time than normal? Because, like, you're a day trader, which I actually hate the labels. I hate it when people label me as a day trader or something. I'm just a guy that trades. Like, I don't limit myself to some time frame or day or
Yes.
night time. If anything, I'm a night trader. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, have you been playing just like higher time frames right now, or
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't done a day trade in crypto in a really long time. I'm all about
he's
the
on the
swing
dark
trades
side
right
now?
now, because when you have these like little candles, there's so much whippiness in it that even as a day trader, it's hard to even figure out, like, am I going to get the bounce? Because remember, as a day trader, you're getting in, and then you got to get that bounce fast, because you're using more leverage in day trading in general. The
Hmm.
idea is, like, as a day trading stocks, for instance, I did a trade today and I just made 50 cents on a stock, but I did enough shares where I made a couple $1,000 on it, kind of thing,
What was it, if you
so
don't mind me asking? You don't need
mhm.
to share it if you don't want to.
Let me see. Let me look over here. So I had a JP Morgan day trade. I went short. I lost $1,191 on that. And then I had a day trade on, let me see here. What else was there? The spiders, I did a short on that, made 50 cents on that. So the
Can you
spiders,
show
which is
us
the
why now?
S&P.
Because I don't think people see enough. First off, I'm a big Jamie Dimon fan. I know everyone hates it when I say that. I like Jamie Dimon as much as you can like a CEO of a banker and what he did. What he did
Yeah.
with Bank One and chasing them is actually the most common. A monkey could have done. He basically just said, your guys' computer, you all have different software and computer systems. Let's just make it all one. Like, what the hell? How come no one else did that shit before? I could have done that.
Yeah. I
Anyways, all
know,
right. So what
right?
were you seeing with JP Morgan maybe, and why, what happened?
So yeah, let me do the spiders here, my spiders trade,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about the
Sure.
the JPM trade. So basically, there's something called a gap fill, right? Gap fill basically is where a stock, in this case, or a crypto, would open sharply lower or higher, and when it retraces to that previous closing level. And with crypto, it's a little harder because you don't get daily closes. But what you can see right here is that basically the spiders opened, the S&P opened sharply lower, and look at this massive rally back. And here's where yesterday closed. And basically look at how price went right there to the penny, and then look at the sell-off. So basically shorting it right there is a high probability trade setup. In addition,
Yeah.
look at this trend line.
Yeah.
I love when two trend lines converge. It's like someone saying, "Hey, this is a good trade," and then someone else is like, "This is a great trade." You know, like you combine forces. Like think about like
Yeah.
superheroes, right?
Totally.
If you had Superman and Batman working together for you right here, those are like two trend lines going together. So this is like what was just an amazing trade. Now I got
Yeah.
out of it too quick as a day trader,
Yeah.
you know, but you just never know. Like it could have pulled back and then ripped higher. For me, it's just like you know, short it here and then get out right down here, make a couple $1,000, be done with it. But
Are
that
we
was a
on the
good.
10-minute here? Is that what we're on?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I should have made that
No,
clear.
it's
So as
okay.
a
It's
day
okay. Of
trader, you focus more on the smaller time frame. Swing traders would
course.
be more on the daily chart. If you're a long-term investor, honestly, monthly, weekly charts probably the most important to you.
Okay.
Yep.
All
And then
right.
on JPM, we could take a look here. And this, honestly, I could have ended up making money on this. So JP Morgan was holding up at the highs as the market was collapsing down. So JPM closed yesterday here, had this unbelievable surge up here. So I got in the trade on the short right up here. You know, major surge up. You have a 4-bar surge. I was in the money, then I was out of the money, then kind of stuttering here. But my concern at this point was that the market was already all the way down here. The stock market had already collapsed down. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? This isn't falling and the stock market's falling. What if the stock market bounces? Then this thing's going to start ripping to new highs. And so I took a small loss. Like it turned out to be a 35-cent approximate loss on it. But it's just one of those things where as a day trader, you are always calculating risks.
Yeah.
You know, so what's my risk of staying in this trade versus taking a small loss, right? And I think that's super, super important to do. In all trading, by the way, you always have to be looking at risk versus reward with the setup that you're trading. So yeah, it was just kind of fun stuff today. Yesterday
Okay.
we had some good trades. What was
Oil,
one of the
man.
ones?
You know, I've been riding oil up for damn near 2 years now.
Yep.
And you've kind of been my main nemesis, my charmful nemesis out there. And what's it down to? It looks like we're like at 89, 89.50. And the pattern that yeah, okay, yeah, boom, that pattern. That is it's ugly. The two
Yeah.
tops right there with the higher top on the left and then the lower one on the right. And I've seen that in Bitcoin 100 times. We've seen
Yep.
that 100 times, and it's an ugly pattern if you're a
It is.
bull. And so, okay, all right, good. So what are we thinking on oil, Gareth? Are you changing your mind? Are you putting your cowboy hat on?
Not quite yet, but so we're getting close to first support, right? I got first support at 85. You should get some sort of bounce there. I think you don't have a ton more downside. You know, I'm really thinking by midterms, maybe around 77, 76 down here.
Come on.
Sorry. Sorry, man.
No, it's elections are coming up and everything, and
Yeah. You
but
know, I mean, I
it's
think
the
last time we talked, that was one of my theses is that we had the midterms in November, and I'm like, there's no way they're letting oil stay up at like 125,
yeah,
$130 going into the midterms, right?
yeah.
So now magically it starts to fall. Now, granted, is it likely that we're getting into a recession? Yes. I mean, that obviously hits demand on the demand side, which brings down oil as well. But yeah, I think again, you got maybe down to 76, $77 before the midterms, and then you probably get a big bounce after the midterms, right? Once the midterms are over, let's run up oil, you know.
So I haven't been. Forgive me if my questions to anyone in the chat, if I don't know the answer, because I haven't been paying attention to like the Fed, and I really haven't been trading that much, and haven't really been looking at charts. A month ago or 2 months ago, when the Fed was raising rates 0.25 or 0.5%, the market would go down. in the last couple times, I think the markets went up for that day. Is right? They went up for that day,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, so the last Fed meeting, we had a monster rally afterwards. And the basics of it was that the Fed seemed to be more dovish. And when you use the term dovish, it basically means they're less likely to raise interest rates.
mm,
They're being nicer to the market,
okay,
the market loves free money, right? I mean, who doesn't
of
love free
course,
money? Until unfortunately it makes your money that you own worthless.
right.
But the market's bottom line love that free money. So after the last Fed meeting, the market said, "Oh, the Fed wasn't as crazy, so let's rally because it seems like they're not going to hike rates as much." Now, today we got a jobs number that was like 500,000 new jobs created, and the markets are like, "Oh, wait a minute! If the jobs market is this strong, maybe the Fed is going to still hike in September, which is their next meeting." And so the markets are seeing a sell off today. Now, let me just
Mm,
show you something cool. So
okay.
you want to see how, and listen, I over the last couple of days I was shorting the stock market, and I'm going to show you why. And I love charts. You know me, man. I just
Yeah, man.
everything is charts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So number one, look at this channel, right? So you had basically the Nasdaq. This is the Nasdaq chart, and you hit the high of the line here, and you pulled back to the low. Went up here, pulled back to the lows, and then look, you just pierced the high. And so you might say, okay, well that's interesting. That's just one. But then look at this. What if we drop a line directly down, connecting the high here? This is basically the all-time high
Yeah, lines
to
up
that
perfect.
pivot, and look at what we hit. So
Mm-hmm.
so this is, I mean, so basically we're falling today. The Nasdaq's down 1.3%. And this, you could have looked at this chart before the jobs number, and this is what I did, and say, I have no clue what the jobs number is going to be, but the probabilities are that you're going to see a sell off in the markets because you're into two trend lines right there. And sure enough, boom, sell off. So it's just, I mean, again, for those of you out there, a lot of people are like, oh, how did the charts predict the news? They don't know what the news is going to be, but the
Yeah.
charts, weirdly enough, do tell you the direction of the market move after the news.
It kind of looks like Bitcoin in 2017 or 18.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I was just a little pipsqueak in the game. But I remember we called it like the dragon line, and we were trying to pierce the belly of the dragon, and it failed like 3 or 4 times. And finally, when it was at like 3K or something, or 6, whatever it was able to kind of get through. Yeah, it looks kind of like
Yeah.
just like that. And how
Yep.
many? What it took? That took 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's what I think, honestly, I think that's kind of where we are on Bitcoin, is where I think the low that we saw at like 17.5 was the equivalent of 2018 when we were down here. And basically
Mhm.
what we're working on is this portion of the bounce here, right? And so we're getting this bounce. It's a little flatter, but nonetheless. And then I think what you'll see is you're going to see Bitcoin kind of do this sideways chop for a period of
Yes.
time, and then eventually it's going to roll over, right? So if we go here, and let me just bring the chart over. So again, notice all this sideways chop, and if we put a trend line in, you can see connecting all these lows.
Man, this was so obvious. This was such. I know it's easy to say in hindsight. Like
Yeah.
hindsight is 2020 for sure. But man, just how it just slowed down and flatlined. Like golly, it's with Bitcoin specifically, it has to go down when it goes just like a hospital chart, heartbeat chart. You
Yeah.
know, like it flatlines, it goes down.
Yeah, I
Oh
agree.
man,
I agree. I mean, back then, I mean, this was just one of those things where there was less and less interest. And then finally, when you broke, and you're right, you talked about 4 and 5 times, right? And this is actually something that I really do teach as well. You have one, you have two, you have three, you have four, well, four, and then five, and then it breaks, right? So
yeah,
once you get to four, you got to be on kind of that like, holy cow, this could break. And
yeah,
then by five, it's usually breaking a trend line. So
yeah,
I I always love saying how chart like resistance or support is like a locked door in front of you, right? So let's say I come up to a door, it's locked, and my kitten's on the other side, and there's a fire in the house, and I'm like, dude, I gotta save my kitten. So I run at that door, but it's locked, and I hit it as hard as I can. Chances are, unless you're a massively strong dude, you're probably not breaking that door down on the first hit. It's probably going to take you a couple times of ramming it before that door gives way. That's support or resistance. So you have to ram it once, you ram it twice, you ram it 3 times. Probably by 4, 5, or 6 times, that thing's going to give way.
Hey, listen, Mr. ACLO Smurf, dumbass in the chat. I'm sorry for speaking French. This guy has a trade group, and literally all his trades are on all his history of his trades are on his website. The guy bats like 90%. If anything, if someone gets mad at you for not using more stupid indicators, then like that person's an idiot in my book. Like,
Yeah,
it's the less is more. Like at a sales job, it's always when
absolutely.
someone walks into a sales job, their first month is always the best month because they know the least and they just they go off the simple stuff right in front of them. And dude, that's what you do. I'm not. It's besides all the other stupid words and everything I said. Like, man, you just use the candles and the lines, and I mean that's how I started, and
Yeah.
I started off good too. I'm not saying I never had my mistakes. I have lost my fair share. But yeah,
But that's, I
man,
mean,
and
that's,
especially going from crypto to like the other markets, dude. It's like it's like taking candy from a baby.
yeah.
Um,
And
like
that's
if
the
you
thing is
start in
like,
crypto, if you think you're struggling or you're almost there, like fuck, man, I'm like 50-50 and being right with Bitcoin. Like, God, man, go to the get an E-Trade account or something, and like, man, you'd be surprised.
well, and that's the kicker, right? Is that people tend to put a lot of indicators on their chart, and then they get that paralysis by analysis. Now, there are experts that use indicators. Like I don't show a lot of stuff, but number one, I'm paying attention to market psychology. I'm paying attention to emotion. I analyze Twitter all the time. That's one of the best indicators for a trade is when you post something on Twitter, and you have to have a big following like you or me, but you post something, if people are hating on it, chances are I would say 80% chance you're going to be right.
Man,
I've
I know, and I
actually,
remember you saying that the other week, and it's hard, man. It's
yeah,
hard, and I deal with it all the time. Like, whenever sometimes it's worse than others. Honestly, like bear markets, it's a different environment. I like trading. I don't care if it goes up and down. Like I'm not married to. We're just doing this for profits at the end of the day. And if you're in, I don't think you should be in love with an asset that you're trading. Then you're biased and you're gonna make a mistake
right.
anyways. And I do believe in crypto. I do believe in all the shit. I use crypto. It's sending money across the world or just sending money to people is way easier with crypto than when you go back to the normal way and try to do it's sending people money is surprisingly hard.
Yep.
But there's
No, you're so
I
right.
forgot the main point I was trying
No,
to make.
but you're 100% right. And just going back to the indicators, like for me, everything in this chart that you're looking at, this tells me everything I need to know. Like candlesticks, like I can look at a single candlestick, like right here, and that's telling me what I need to know. I can draw a trend line in and tells me exactly. Essentially, the chart is like a foreign, like imagine you pick up a book and it's in some foreign language you don't know. Once you learn what each candle and each candle that's made in the chart means something, once you learn the ones that are the most significant, it's like as if you learned that foreign language and now you're reading a book that you understand, but it's just in chart form. And it's absolutely amazing how you kind of can get to that level of not needing a bunch of indicators. Now, I do use Fibonacci. I like Fibonacci. I think that's an important one. Moving averages, occasionally I do use, although I will say I don't use like the smaller moving averages. I'm focused on like the 100, 150, 200 mostly. But for the most part, everything, the beauty of it is everything you need to know is right in this chart. And that's, I mean, that's why I've been as successful as I can is because, or as I have.
That's now I use my fair share of indicators, but there's a way to do it. Like there's a time and a place. Like if I don't know, really it's just keeping it simple, man. Like you stick
Yeah.
with kind of just like the big picture no matter what time frame it is. But from what I've seen and just like your trade history and stuff, man, you have the cleanest charts, you have the least amount of stuff on your charts from what I've seen, and your trades speak for themselves, man.
Thank you,
So all
buddy.
right, so what's gonna happen next, bro? Are we just gonna keep going sideways and slow and maybe go down and we are gonna
Yeah,
have to
so
wait a few more weeks for maybe something to happen, but it could happen, and then it comes back up to the same price it is now. We're gonna go to 19 and come to 22 again for the next 6 months.
yeah, so what I'm guessing is going to happen is that I think you still have a little bit more of this sideways action, and then what I'm thinking is you're going to have one attempt by the Bitcoin market to really break up a little bit, and I have a couple targets. So number
Okay.
one, this is the Terra Luna low. I think at least we got to touch that, right? That's around 25,500. So I think you at least make one push up there. Small chance that to lure in enough bulls, they're going to try to take us to this 28 to 30,000 level. But ultimately, again, the kicker is that this is all inside bearish action within this bigger move. And you have a measured move. And this is, again, you don't have to, once you understand the charts, you don't need indicators, right? Or at least I don't. Like, so basically you have this high pivot to this low pivot right down here. That's a certain distance. And what you do is you look for what's called a measured move, where you had this consolidation here. All right. And then you take that high and you extend the same distance. So you take this distance and you extend it from that high. And to me, I have a target that gives me a target right around 12,000, give or take. And what's interesting about that target is it's basically that 80-85% correction on Bitcoin that we've seen pretty much in every bear cycle. And by the way, I know you know this, but like, remember when we were at 69 and everyone's like, this time is different. It's, all these different things. And it's like, nah, dude, cycles are so much more powerful than we give them credit for. It's just like, they're going to play out. It is what it is.
Man, it's what really sold it for me, and the canary in the canary in the coal mine is an oily bird. And every time I was at dinner, no matter where it was, what city, what state, what country, what continent, I heard the same. I heard Doge. You heard the crypto coin, and there was not one time that I went out for, I don't know, maybe it was like a good 3 or 4 months, man, maybe even longer than that. And everywhere you heard people walking past you talking about some altcoin or something, and man, that is when you know that the top is there. And you might not time it perfectly. Like if you get out at 50K, it goes up to 60, 64, 69, and now it's down to 19 or 20. But like, it's hard. It's when you go against the grain, everyone calls you Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Edison.
That's
and
right.
and Nikolai Tesla. They call them witches, but then they end up being right in the end, and they're the ones that have the mansions and shit.
And I think I hope people that are listening and watching, like, if there's one lesson you take away from this, I still remember being in Dubai last year, and that's when I did live interviews from that summit where I was saying, we were at 66, 67,000, I think at the time. And I was like, listen, guys, I think it's going to 20. And, I was like, I was doing a panel at one point, and like the room got this crazy hush when I said that. They're like, oh, this guy's a nut job. But you're right. When everyone is so bullish, you need to be very self-controlling, meaning that you have to be able to control your emotions and not get swept up in that. And by the way, that goes for the same thing at the lows of cycles. Like when, let's say we go to 12,000, you're going to hear people saying, oh, Bitcoin's over, it's going to zero, no one wants it, it's never going to be. You have to be able to separate yourself and not get swept into that emotional aspect and be able to say, no, actually, this is a normal cycle. This is what cycles do. I'm not going to bet the farm on it, because you never want to bet everything you have on anything. But I'm going to start inching into maybe a longer term hold position, believing in the longer term thesis of a Bitcoin and being that digital gold, if you will.
Speaking of, I have you on. I only get to see you, twice a year.
Yeah.
And I haven't been looking at charts, and so I'm having fun, kind of just looking at this stuff real time. This is real time for me too. This is not recorded. This is not pre-recorded, and I don't have a script. But what's up with gold? I'm going to say we're at 17. Don't pull it up yet. 1779. What is it?
Let's see. 1771. You're close. 72.
Yeah, I'm actually way off when we're talking about gold. We're not talking about Bitcoin. I'm way off.
Close,
I'm way
man.
off.
What? You're within $8 or $7. I think that's pretty darn good, man.
It's gold. It's always the same price. So, but I appreciate it. It looks the same. It looks the same as it looks exactly the same as whatever we were just looking at.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, basically you had the flush out here. Gold, look at the resistance line, right? Pivot low here, down sloping trend lines, and you're getting a pullback right in that level. So charts are telling you that was coming. I think honestly, I'm expecting a consolidation move and then a bigger move to the upside. But again, keep in mind that gold trades inverse to the dollar. Generally crypto does as well. It's influenced by the DXY. And so you know, if you look at the dollar, this is the daily chart of the dollar today. Look at that big green candle. So that's putting pressure. You know, I'm actually impressed that crypto's holding up today in spite of that. But that's why gold is down today, because of that dollar pop on the back of the Fed. Well, the back of the jobs number, which influences the Fed.
Now, I know everyone's getting a little shaky off the Dixie. Let me actually show you something here. It's my turn. I'll take over this.
Yeah. Let me stop sharing and.
First, oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God, we're showing everything. Oh my God! Oh, passwords! Oh, my passwords! Just kidding. All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead and pull up.
Man. I love it.
Pull up the Dixie. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, freeze frame." I think. Oh my God. Just kidding. All right, let's see here. So we're on the Dixie, and you know, I'm not a big Dixie guy, but I've kind of had to be since I pulled up this chart on the week. Let me try to clean it up a little bit.
Just so you know, I can't see it. I don't know. If
oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's just.
All right.
Awesome. There we go. Beautiful.
Right. Good deal. Okay, let's see here. So we're on the weekly, and down here, this green wave. This is just my money flow. Long story short, money flow red coming in the green, whatever. Anyways, last time that the amount of flow of money coming into the Dixie basically was at these levels was 40 years ago, bro. And it's even higher than that. It's even higher than that. We're actually, this has never even happened since 1967.
Wow.
And it's never even happened. So, and now last time, the dollar went up another 50% from where it was. It was at 112 in 1982 or 81, which is with some shit happened in 81 with the Nixon or some shit. And we went up another 50%. And so, wow, you know, when it gets like with Bitcoin, bro, during the bull market, when we saw waves like these, especially the first one, it's not the end. It is a beginning. It is a beginning. That is the most ever, man. I think she's gonna roar. Now, wow, roaring in the Dixie and roaring in Bitcoin are two different things. It takes time. It's like oil and shit. But and you know, people are gonna pepper jack and flip and flop on Twitter over, you know, the Dixie coming down for a week or two, whatever. But I don't know, man. I think, you know, I don't know.
I mean,
what do you think?
It looks like it could be consolidating, and kind of that would be the equivalent of a kind of a bullish consolidation over the last little bit.
Yeah.
Now, just out of curiosity, go zoom out a little bit and like connect that high from the 70s on the dollar, and then connect it to that secondary high, and you could see that the dollar technically broke out like a while ago, right? So if we do, so I think it's the 81 high, yeah, like that high right there. Right there, yeah. Connect it right through and drag it all the way down.
Here, let me. Damn it! I haven't been trading in weeks. Okay, I'm a little rusty.
No, you're good.
Here, we'll just do this. So you want me to do this?
Yeah. So you could see that was actually the breakout going back. It was like in 2000. What was that? 2015 or so. And then look at the consolidation, and now you're getting the breakout right there. So yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, she's roaring.
Yeah. Wow. Now, the scary thing about that is if the dollar, so we all know that at some point the Fed is probably going to have to print again when we get into a crazy, nasty kind of depression environment.
Oh, man. It's like, man, but can they? But you know what? They have no shame, I guess. So I guess anything's possible. If they printed this much already and done. We've just ruined ourselves in 2 years. We've ruined the world, really. Like, we're ruined. I know it's a little extreme, but we pretty much are. China's firing missiles. Everything's, and we're talking about this fucking dude. I'm sorry, this guy on YouTube who everyone thinks he's some misogynist. Who cares about that guy? The shit's hitting the fan.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree, man.
I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry.
No, all I was going to say is that if the dollar is really going to rip higher, that's not a good sign for the world. No, because the dollar, even with all the printing of money, we're still the safest. At least the world views the dollar as the safest currency on a shitty block, right? So, like, you have the euros are getting printed, yens. I mean, everyone's printing. China's printing. So even though we've printed, we're still kind of on par with everyone else. We're still the reserve currency. So if the dollar is going to scream higher, it tells you that people are running to the safety of the dollar, which means things are not good. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm just taking a peep. This Bed Bath and Beyond. I'm sure probably bragged about it to you last time too, but shorted Bed Bath and Beyond at 24.11.17, and this was my favorite short of the year, bro. Favorite, it was like 80% or something. 24.17. Great shit company that's turning off the air conditionings. And I think I asked you last time, and I'm going to ask you again. I mean, you're day trading and stuff. Do you have kind of any favorite shitter companies that you like to look for shorts in, or good companies that you like to look longs in? I'd rather hear the shorts, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're not, I only if the only time I play kind of the meme names for me is when they're really crazy, when they're like if they're up like 40% on the day, I'll be interested.
You're playing, when you say meme, are you talking about like the GameStop stuff? Are you?
Yeah, because Bed Bath & Beyond kind of caught that same big move back when the meme stock, it was kind of considered a secondary meme stock actually back then. I mean, it had such a crazy move. Is it the same dates?
You're probably right, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Bed Bath & Beyond. This was over, it went up 1,000%.
Yeah, it was nuts, man.
Wish I looked at it earlier.
Like as swing trades, I think Tesla's ridiculously overdone. I think that's going to come down. I mean, there's so many good, and it's actually getting smacked today. It's a big drop today, but yeah, there's just a lot of charts out there that have gotten way too. In fact, I'm short Apple right now. I mean, like, heck, man, I'm like look at some of these charts. It's just insane the moves that they've had recently.
Yeah. I've been on, my gosh, man, it was just been going up forever, man.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. All right. Let me pull up, the old Bitcoin here and kind of see. I have this menu thing, so I can't really change time frames too much. Did you see the thumbnail on the video? I put your face on the three amigos, the four horsemen of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I love the three amigos.
Yeah, man. Dude, I'm telling you, listen, we are so far like 80% correct so far. So we've technically breached the first. We're at the first amigos hat. So I'm taking credit for the amigos and shit.
I love it, man.
But yeah, man. So all right. So I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit here.
Okay.
There was a little birdie that said that if Bitcoin went to 20K, he'd flap his little wings and all his little beaks and buy everything he can in Bitcoin. Now, I kind of, as we chill in this area, it's hard not to be like, it could be the bottom. Mm-hmm. So, if not though, are you flapping your wings at 13K? Are you saying, I don't care what price it is, I'm going to look at the damn charts?
So I'm always going to be a swing trader. So that's important to kind of recognize. So I'll be in and out, as a trader. But when we got to 19,000, and you do remember correctly, I love the memory. I started what I consider to be a hodl position on Bitcoin, and the way I did it was I basically said, okay, how much am I willing to hold? So I think that, by the way, any trader, any investor should always decide ahead of time versus in the midst of a trade when emotion is strong, like how much they're going to invest in anything. So, for let's just say $1,000,000. Like I'm willing to have a hodl position of $1,000,000 on Bitcoin. What I did was I divided into segments. So I divided it into sixth of a position, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. And I invested that amount, that 1/6 at 19,000. So
Word.
that I'm going to leave there. If it goes down another 2 to 3,000 below 19, I'm going to do another 1/6, then 2 or 3,000 below another 1/6. The idea is I'm not good enough to predict exactly where the bottom is in. Heck, maybe the bottom's in already. I don't know. But down in this lower range in the teens, maybe down to 10, I want to be just accumulating. So yes, in a matter of speaking, I'm not buying everything I can, but I
Word.
certainly am starting that process very slowly to accumulate.
Yeah, I was just being a little teaser, I was being a
No, but that's
teaser.
good, man. That's what people want to know. And I
Of course.
appreciate you asking the question because I think it's important to know, even though I say it's going to 12, 13,000, frankly, I don't know. And I'm self-aware enough to know that I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to look back and be like, dang, Bitcoin's at 500,000
Listen,
now.
if you say if it goes to 14,000, you're wrong forever. You're never going to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Or if
Yeah.
it goes to $13,005, you still weren't right, bro. You
Right.
weren't right, and you're bad. You're bad at your
Yeah.
job. So okay. So yeah, man, we're just chilling. Um
But what about you, man? I want to hear from you. Like, so give me where's Bitcoin going in the next month? Where's it going by end of year? Anything
oh
like
shit.
that.
Everything you said. Whatever you said.
No, dude,
Well, let's
no.
take a look see here. Let's take a look see
'Cause
here,
honestly, I
man.
like number one, I respect all your analysis. You're dead on most of the time, and so like as I think it's important, even and I think you do this too. Is like it's good to pay attention to other good people because they might point something out that you miss in the charts. None of us are infallible.
Yeah. I appreciate the compliment. Um to be honest with you, man, I can sit here and squeeze charts and I have this Zoom call thing popping up, and so it's a little difficult for me to like
Wow.
to do stuff, but here's what I'll say. The past like 2 years ago, I mean I was able to I was much more comfortable with my predictions. I was much more confident in where Bitcoin was going to go. In fact, I don't remember what year, but it was like I said April, May 2022, Bitcoin to 45,000, and the price of Bitcoin was like 8 grand. So technically, I pretty much nailed that on the dot too. I'm pretty sure in April, yes, it did go up to 60 whatever thousand, and I didn't say it's going to go to 60,000 then to 45k, but after 2.5 years it magically ended up at 45,000, and whatever, that's whatever. Listen, I'm the guy who said Bitcoin 64k possibly top forever.
Yeah.
And there may have been sort of a little jest in that. When I say forever, I mean like potentially till the next cycle, but also potentially, listen, MCI, AOL, MCI WorldCom's at the top of the world one time. There are so many
Right.
people that are at the top of the world, and just because you're first doesn't mean you're always going to be first. In fact, it typically means you're going to be last. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's chasing after you. And so, I don't know, man. I think it's more difficult this time because of outside factors. If we were just in a normal market and every couple of years one weird thing happens with the economy, gas prices are bad for 6 months and it's back to normal, but I don't think we're normal right now. And but the use case is there, and I think if anything it needs to stable out. I think stable coins are super important.
Yep.
That's probably why like Tron, for last time I checked, has been doing fairly well against
Yeah.
Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's been more stable, and that's because more companies and whoever's transferring money in crypto, any business that's in crypto uses the TRC20 Tethertron, not the Ethereum one. So to be honest, man, yeah, I really don't know. But you did have an interview with someone on someone else's channel, where they said 100K by the end of the year. You say you took the under. I'm on the under on Bitcoin to 100K by the end of the year again. And man, I wouldn't get my panties in a knot and too excited over. Okay, let's say you capture the bottom at 20K, and if it does go to 100K, you 5x your money, and that's great. But that's not buy a Shiba shit coin and make $1 million and change your life. And so, maybe some people need to start looking at some super shit coins if they're trying to make that play.
That's true. That's true, man. Very cool. Awesome.
Other than that, man, forgive me if, we didn't have too much planned or anything. Yeah, man, you've been kicking butt, been making the rounds. I saw you on I've actually gone on the Better Traders podcast with Rune.
Yeah, Rune. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, super cool. And I saw you had a new segment, or you're doing some video tutorials. Do you want to? What's going on with that? What are you guys doing? What are you doing with that?
Yeah, so basically, I got approached by the Better Traders and by KitGo to kind of put together a hardcore course, 3-course series on everything I do, soup to nuts, the market psychological analysis I do, the discipline that I employ to keep my trades in alignment and to keep myself from chasing, and then basically all the setups I look for in the charts, all the proprietary techniques. There's stuff I've created over the 20 years that it works better than anything out there in the market. And I basically did it. It's 20 hours of content, and I'll show my screen here because it's pretty darn cool here. But let's go to Verified Investing Education, the Winning Trader series. So, and I appreciate you letting me just talk about this, but basically it's a 3-course series, 20 hours of content, about 20 hours. In addition, there's 8, if you buy the bundle, which is the 3-course bundle, there's 18 hours included where it's a live education that I do. So like, people will take a course and then we do multiple hours of like talking about it, question answering, and it's all live by me. So it's just awesome. But I appreciate you letting me just mention that. And if there's one thing I know, folks, is that there's no way I would be where I am today without learning how to read charts. And I think you would agree with that as well, is that it's really everything to be, especially in bear markets, we realize how little we know about things when the markets smoke us and do what they do. And so if you can profit, it's easy to profit in a bull market, but if the real test of a good investor and trader is, can you profit in a bear market? And if you do that, then you're golden.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah.
And so I always say, know your environment, like analyze your environment. The way, the way I trade has been different. Like the environment's been different every 4 months for the past 3-4 years. Like just whether it's my position sizing, the risk taking, the amount of trades I'm entering, the time that I'm in the trades I'm entering. And really it's just about like zooming out and really keeping it simple. Like as far as identifying your environment, really there's nothing really better that you can do than just looking at drawing lines and just looking at the candles, because you're seeing the overall trends. That's why I use Heiken-Ashi candles. And that's why the creators of the original candles prefer Heiken-Ashi candles. It's the same guys that made the same things. I use both of them. But like, just, man, I always say you don't have to have a stick up your ass to be a trader, man. You don't need to have a degree. You have to be disciplined, and you have to like watch yourself. You can know all the answers. You can win the Powerball. You can win the lottery and be handed $500 million and still end up in, the shit can. So, other than that, man, you're out there, you're working, you're a convert, you're converted to the night trader side. The stock guys are day traders. We're night traders, bro. We're night traders. Yeah. You're growing your hair out. You're growing your hair out. Look at you.
Not quite long enough to do in a little ponytail, but I'm coming.
That look good on you. Man, who would you look like? There is someone that you look like, and I wish Maybe it's like a Disney character or something. From like all dogs go to heaven. There might be a dog in all dogs go to heaven
Nice.
that you look
I
like or
gotta I
something.
gotta do an NFT of myself like that or something.
Okay, no, please no.
Dude, that's awesome, man. And yeah, man, you're just awesome. Honestly, you think you're my favorite to talk to and just shoot the breeze with, man. We always have great conversations, and yeah, very cool stuff.
Right on, brother. Well, thank you, and yeah, man, I will. I'll certainly be checking out those videos too. No
Yeah, let
BS.
me
You know,
know, man.
even if I don't watch all 20 hours, that is a lot. All he's played on, because yeah, man. And no, dude, you put all your stuff out there. You got I mean, I'd imagine at least a good few thousand people following you. You've been doing it
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah,
Excuse me.
for
And
sure.
so yeah, man, way to go. Thanks for
All right,
coming
thank
on.
you, buddy,
And
so much.
good luck. God bless you.
You too, buddy. Thank
All
you,
right,
and I'll
peace,
talk to you
bro.
soon.
Peace.
Bye.
All righty. No, that was good. That was all right. Could you guys even hear the music? Yeah, I from just the little that I was looking at, let me turn this down. Let me turn this shit down here. Man, it's you just see like a little bit one way, a little bit the other way. You know, I really haven't been trading much, although this upcoming week, this next week, um got some announcements and some launches. We're going to be launching and announcing a couple things. And so I got some work to do. I got a couple videos I got to make that I got to release this week. Other than that, man, I hope you guys have been good and taking it easy. And yeah, man. If I happen to fall into any trades or anything pops up, is there anything cooking? What day is it today? It's Friday. It's the weekend. Yeah. Yeah, the 2 hour. It's like, oh, it's coming down. And looks a little weak. It does. Money flow looks a little weak, man. Ooh, look at that 2-day. The 2-day. What's the daily? Daily. Split RSIs. Barely just trying to can't even make it into the green. I don't know about this. Looks similar, less volatile. But similar. My best guess is, you know, hell, maybe it comes back down, then it starts all over again. Sideways shit. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining. And hopefully I'll be streaming and uploading another video or two soon. Peace.